Joelle is going to be speaking. Now, Joelle is a fellow Cornellian, so she's got a warm spot in my heart from design and environmental analysis at Cornell. Also practical, uses the research, presents the design with lots of examples, and she'll be the detail person for those of you who really want to see it from a product rather than the largest scale, the architectural changes themselves. She's also here because she has actually done assessments in New York City for real-life apartments and used some of those examples to gather her thoughts for today.
Thank you. So I'm going to start talking about some actual modifications that we can make in the home, specifically focused on the bath and the kitchen. First, I want to talk about aging in place, which we've talked about already, but for the most part, people want to stay in their current apartment for as long as possible. But unfortunately, a lot of falls can occur in the house because of some obstacles that we'll be presenting today. So therefore, we need to make sure that the home environment is a safe place for everyone. And most of my examples focus on these principles of universal design, which basically means that environments and products are designed so that they can be used by the greatest amount of people without need for specialization or an adaptation. Basically, it means that a product can be used by anyone regardless of their age or abilities or right or left-handed. It shouldn't really matter. There are 7 principles of universal design, which I'm not going to go into, but a lot of them will be integrated into the examples that I provide. And just one quick example of universal design, just so you can start thinking about it, is a doorknob. And a lot of us have this round doorknob in our apartment, but if maybe we have arthritis, if our hands are wet, if we're carrying packages, it's not easy to open the door. So an adaptation is to put a lever attachment onto an existing doorknob. It allows you to open the door in multiple ways. You can do it with a closed fist test, which basically means you can knock it with your fist, even bump it with your elbow, and you'd be able to open the door. And a complete modification of that would be to just have lever doorknobs instead. Again, if you're carrying packages or you don't have that same fine motor skills that you used to have, you'd be able to open the door. So that's just an idea, just to kind of plant the seed in your head. And I'm going to go through a bunch of examples, but like we discussed, we're definitely not talking about everything that we can. But I want you to think of maybe there's something that you used to do that it used to be a lot easier to do something, and now for some reason it's a little more difficult. There's really an adaptation or a device or something you could do differently that would make doing that task just a little easier. So I'm going to start with the bathroom. So here's a before picture, and I just want you to look around and see maybe some things that are missing, maybe some things that shouldn't be there. Just take a look. So here's the before, and now here's the after. And basically it shows there's no tripping hazard on the floor. We have some grab bars, a night light, and a seat in the shower. So let's just give you an idea of some quick and easy changes that you can make. So first, it's important to keep a clear and visible pathway to your bathroom, especially if some of us get up in the middle of the night. You don't want to trip over something because it's dark, and you also don't want to turn on all the overhead lights because it can be blinding. So one example of something you can use is a night light, and this one is a motion sensor. So it turns on when it senses you walking by, so you just have the path to the bathroom lit. This is an example of a bathroom that I did a home visit on, and I think a lot of apartments kind of look like this, and I'm sorry, it's kind of difficult to see, but basically it shows, in this case, there's about a 3 or 4 inch step into the bathroom. And this can really be a big tripping hazard because when we get older, our gait changes, and maybe we're sleepy and we don't lift up our foot high enough that we can really trip on this. And the woman who lives in this apartment was worried she was going to trip and hit her head on the tub, which is right across from the door. So she actually was able to install a ramp that went, just a slight slope into her bathroom. But in her situation, she had a little hallway that actually went into the bathroom, so it was able to fit. But something like that really isn't going to be a solution in everyone's home. So just to maybe put a glow-in-the-dark tape or even some LED lights like you would find in a movie theater, something along that bottom, that little ledge, just so you can, to point it out, and like the same idea with color contrast. And we want to bathe safely. And remember, most of the falls in the house occur in the bathroom. So we want to use assistive devices that contribute to balance. And as we spoke about before, grab bars are very important. And remember, they're not the same as a towel bar, because many towel bars are very flimsy. And if you go to grab it when you're falling, you are going to fall. So it's important to install the grab bars properly, as we discussed earlier. Make sure someone who knows what they're doing comes in and installs it for you. And also, since no two bathrooms are alike, no two people are alike, you really have to go case by case. I can't just tell you, oh, put up a grab bar in your bathroom, it'll work for you. You really have to see where it's going to work for your body. And as this picture shows, grab bars can be pretty. I think a lot of people think grab bars are that traditional, institutional looking, but this shows you that grab bars can be really nice. You can get ones that will go with the decor of your bathroom, different sizes, finishes, colors, so go get grab bars. And this image also shows the walk-in or roll-in shower, which again, in a New York City apartment might not be a real solution. It just might not be possible, but it's something to think about. And I really like this image, except it has that huge throw rug down there, so don't do that. Some other assistive devices are like a shower chair or a transfer bench. You want to make sure that, one, it will fit in your tub, because again, some tubs are different sized. And a transfer bench, just to point out the difference between the two, the transfer bench, 2 of the legs are within the tub and 2 are outside of the tub, and allows you to sit down outside and swing your legs over and scooch in, so it's just a little easier to get in. But some bathrooms can't even accommodate a transfer bench just because of the setup of the bathroom. So there are some transfer benches that actually attach to the side of the tub. So it has the same concept, but just kind of a different layout. So again, you have to know your options, and there are a ton more options out there to really see what will fit in your environment. We want to control water flow and temperature. So one example is a handheld shower. And a handheld shower can almost be seen as a luxury item, but it's really helpful if you are using a shower chair. It allows you to control where the water is going a little better, but also it can be used to clean your tub, water the plants, wash the dog. You can do many things with it. So again, it's not just something that we should think about using in old age. It's something that can be really useful for anyone. An anti-scald valve can just be installed in your existing shower, and it makes sure that the water doesn't go above a certain temperature. So if someone flushes the toilet, you don't get burns in the shower. And then the idea of lever controls, again, like I was talking before with the doorknob, that closed fist test. A lever like this would allow you to turn on and off the water, even if your hands are slippery or you have arthritis or anything like that. It's very easy to turn on and off. We want to keep our surfaces slip-free, because like I mentioned, the bathroom can be a very dangerous place. So to have a non-slip mat or tape, like shown here, it's a little difficult to see, but those stickers just stick down on the bottom of your tub, or you can use the mat. Shower caddy just allows you to put the items at a more reachable location, but also so it's not on the floor and it doesn't cause a tripping hazard. And to also have a good bath mount outside of the tub. So a lot of people might just use a regular towel, and it can easily get moved around, and it can be a tripping hazard itself. So this one is very sturdy, and it traps the water very easily. I want to show this quick example of an actual bathroom that I did a home visit on. And this woman, she took a bath, and she needed a grab bar, because as you can see, the one on the top was very high. Not really going to work for her. So she installed that one on the left, but after using it for a few days, she was actually getting bruised on her arm because of the faucet controls, because they came out so far. So when she grabbed naturally from getting up from the bath, that seemed to be a natural place, but because of the environment, it just wasn't working. So we thought of a few different solutions, trying to make the faucet or the levers not come out as far. What we ended up doing was installing this white grab bar, which, talk about color contrast, not really that great, but we had to install it in kind of a bizarre location, but this was really the only option in this case. So it just shows you that really every bathroom deserves its own look. And I think Phyllis showed some of these pictures, but just the idea of walk-in showers, roll-in showers. Again, the one on the left is the same size as a bathtub. So you can just do, maybe a renovation, having good grab bars. In this picture, like a lot of roll-in, roll under the sink, a lot of things. Now talking about toileting, I think we've all probably seen this comfort height toilet. A lot of older toilets are actually lower than a typical chair, so it makes you work harder to sit down and stand up. So this is kind of an institutional looking comfort height toilet, but they do sell more current toilets that are this comfort height, 18 inches, that it's the same height as a typical chair, so you don't have to work as hard. And this one shows grab bars attached to the chair, but you can also install grab bars around the toilet. An attachable bidet, again, that's something that you might think of as a luxury item, but if you can't really take care of yourself on your own, but maybe having the bidet would allow you to maintain your independence, it's a great option. Again, one of these outside of the box solutions. And then the bedside commode, again, you can use this in your bedroom, but also you can use this if you take out the pail underneath. You can put that on top of your toilet because it will be sturdier probably than the comfort height toilet shown there. And also just again, the point of color contrast, these white on white images are really hard to see, so to get something with, maybe you change the color of your tiles or your flooring and allow you to see some of these things a little better. And also removing the bathroom door. As I was mentioning before, some bathrooms are very small, or the configuration doesn't allow for a wheelchair or a walker. So just remove the bathroom door. Most of us live alone anyway, so what's the point of a door? And you can just put a curtain up or something if you do need privacy. But it's just something to think about, because really that could make all the difference in the world to getting around your bathroom independently. So we're going to move on to the kitchen. And again, I have a little before and after picture. And unfortunately, I don't think all of our kitchens are this large in New York City. But we can just look at some of the items and think about maybe, again, what's missing or what can be moved around. So now the after picture shows there's nothing on the floor, no area rugs, no dog food bins, and the cupboards are organized a little more clearer, and I'll get into more of the details. Like I was just mentioning, to organize the items that you use in the kitchen based on use. You're not going to put your everyday dishes up high. You're going to put them at a spot that's very easy to reach. I once visited a home where someone's daughter came by every night and asked the mother what she's going to cook for the day, and she brought down those items. So it was just easier for her. So again, just thinking of other solutions. To use appliances with front controls, just like an oven with the controls right in the front, so you don't have to reach over the range because you don't want to burn yourself. But that's something that is good for older adults, but maybe not so good for someone who has a child running around and doesn't want the controls close by. So again, a little give and take there, or figuring out which is more important. The idea of pull-out and pull-down storage, I think this is really exciting. Here's basically a traditional cabinet, but it has these pull-out shelves instead of just stationary shelves. So this basically allows you to access what's in the back of the cabinet a little easier. And something like this is actually really easy to retrofit, and it just allows you to access it easier, but also you can be more organized because you are able to get to every corner of the cabinet, and you don't buy multiples of things that are hidden in the back. Counters at different heights. The image in the center shows someone working from a seated position and also someone working at a standing position. Maybe this isn't something that's really realistic in an apartment, but a lot of people that I meet with say, oh, I don't cook anymore because I just can't stand at the counter. But something like this shows you can sit at the counter. I often suggest to just sit at your kitchen table and chop up your vegetables so if you can continue cooking. And also the image on the right there shows the idea of a roll under sink, like I discussed before, which is good for a wheelchair user, but also maybe you just are lazy and you want to sit down for a little while you do your dishes. So, it just accommodates everyone. And then just some more pictures of some pull down, pull out, pull around storage. It really is, I think, really cool what some of these things allow you to do, and just makes things a little easier. Like the image on the bottom left there, the shelving is actually lowered down to the seated user. So it's just really cool, and just to show you that there's a lot of stuff out there. The idea of low physical effort, again, if you have arthritis or it's difficult for you to cook, you might want to consider some of these gadgets. But again, I use those measuring cups on the left there. I think they're really fun. Basically, it has the measurements that you can see from standing up, so you just look down into the measuring cup to know if you're at the right height instead of bending over to see if the meniscus is at the right level. So those are really cool. Again, easy just for everyone to use. And the center one is a jar opener that it has a nice big grip, allows you to open a jar of any size. But these OXO products, which most of you, or all of you, if you're not familiar with it, you've definitely seen them. But they're basically designed to have a bigger grip to allow, if you do have arthritis, that it's easier to use, but a bigger grip can be good for everyone of any age. And they have every kitchen gadget under the sun. And again, the idea of lever controls. And I like to just show this pour thing. I think it's really cool. Again, a product that you might just not even know exists. Basically allows you to pour a jug of orange juice or milk or whatever, and you just tilt it over so you don't have to carry it. I mean, a gallon of milk is very, very heavy for anyone. So just something like this can be really helpful. Visual and auditory cues, again, if we're older or for whatever reason you can't see as well or you can't hear as well. Something like this timer, it changes colors when time progresses, so you don't necessarily have to wait to hear for the beep or look to see how much time is left. It changes the colors for you. The grabber, I think we're all familiar with, easier to reach high up and low down. And a nice sturdy step stool. This one allows for the foot to fit entirely on the step. I think a lot of step ladders really don't provide that much support. So this one does, and it has that handle and allows you to step up easily. Again, for people who, maybe people who are older, but also young people as well, who are living alone, it's good to have these one-touch, easy-to-use, single-use products. Again, an OXO product, this chopper allows you to just chop up vegetables really quickly. I have something like this that I use, again, not just for older adults, but it allows you to chop things really quickly so you don't have to stand at the counter for so long. 1-cup coffee maker, a microwave, which with a an easy 1-minute button, and that's it.